In Screencast 2 here, I am going to walk you through a few sample annotations using the same article that I am going to assign to all of you. So just follow along with me for a couple of minutes and you will be released to work independently on some of your own annotations with this article. So as you can see here, the title of the article is called Doing It for the College Resume by Lori Wolk, published on July 31st of 2018, so it is very recent, very up to date, always a good thing with nonfiction. I'm going to go ahead and scroll through and look for any additional subheadings. You can ignore all of my highlighting and commentary for right now. We'll come back to it. We are assuming none of that is there for right now. So not too many subheadings, not too many text features. There was the one picture at the beginning, but this article in particular from US News does not have a whole lot of extra stuff, and that's okay. All right, so down here, I am looking for my post-reading assignment so I know what it is to be looking out for as I read. The written response that you are all going to be completing reads, what argument is the author supporting in this article? What evidence does he or she use to support his or her claim? Use at least one direct quote. Lastly, respond with your own unique opinion regarding how and why high school students are becoming more involved. And I have also provided you with an outline. So we are looking for the author's personalized opinion and how she supports it. Alrighty, scrolling back up to the top so we can get started. Doing it for the college resume, Lori Wolk. Many kids seem to be doing it all these days. They're active, they're involved, and they're volunteering while maintaining rigorous schedules with school, sports, extracurriculars, and homework. The recent surge in activism we've seen from our youth in response to gun violence in schools and other causes dear to them has made the whole nation take notice of their resourcefulness. Our kids are finding their voices and speaking out. They are finding their way and figuring out what they care about. So you will see here the yellow section I have highlighted and commented on. As soon as I read that statement, activism in response to gun violence in schools, I immediately thought of the Parkland shooting that happened in Florida just last year. There was a lot of activism. There were many students who spoke out after this tragedy to stand up against gun violence. So that was something I immediately thought of, a text-to-text connection that I made and annotated in the margins. Moving on here, however, I am concerned that some of their involvement in community service and causes also has another motivation. Our kids are hoping that people will take notice, specifically the folks wielding the power in college admissions offices across the country. So you will notice that I have this particular passage or sentence here highlighted in teal. I have highlighted that because it is stating the author's opinion, her argument on the topic of student involvement. So this is something I could potentially use later on in my written response. I have highlighted it and noted why I highlighted it. Secondly, an example of a vocabulary annotation. Perhaps you are unfamiliar with the word wielding or to wield. In this case, I did not look up a dictionary definition, but I did develop a definition on my own, just simply based on the context of the sentence. To wield power means to hold power, to make use of power. So I annotated off to the side here what definition I created. Moving forward, as an educator who works with parents and kids to develop social and emotional skills, I worry that we are focusing too much on college acceptance rates as a measure of success rather than our kids' actual happiness. So again, I have highlighted this statement here because it, again, is the author stating her opinion and expressing her side of this particular topic. Have our kids stopped doing things simply because they enjoy them? Are too many of their after-school activities influenced by their worries about getting into college rather than whether something is the right fit for them? So this section right here, influenced by their worries about getting into college, I have come up with a question. This came to mind. Could this be because today's culture or our society pushes so hard for teens to pursue college, even when there are alternative options? So, something that was running through my brain as I was reading this particular paragraph. I'm just going to go through one or two more paragraphs with you, and then I'm going to set you free to work on your own. Colleges are becoming more competitive. More students are applying to more schools, and this can take a toll. Studies show that teens cite doing well in school and getting into a good college as a primary source of stress. And those same studies show that many parents are not recognizing this. So, again, as a teacher of high school seniors, I was able to make a text to self connection here. I said that I agree that the stress of college is prevalent in high school students. I see my own students, you guys, stressed during this final year of your high school career as you prepare for post grad life, whether it's college, a job, the military, what have you. So I made a text to self connection here. Lastly, on to the second page. A drive to overachieve has many kids hyper focused, worried, and sleep deprived. When kids don't have the time to have fun, socialize, sleep, or just chill out, that's when things become unhealthy. For teens, a lack of sleep has been linked to depression and suicide. So you will see over here that I made a text to text connection. Ironically, I just read today and yesterday an article with my sophomore students about this exact thing, how teenagers are not getting enough sleep and it's leading to depression, sadness, and stress during their high school career. So this was something I was able to connect to because it popped up in my head as something I had just read about or had just heard about. The last thing I want to show you is a sample summary. So I've read a couple of paragraphs here at the beginning of the article, and it is time to summarize what I've read. So you will see here in just one sentence, I say that Wolk, the author, suggests students are pressured into volunteer work and extracurricular activities and believes they aren't participating for enjoyment. So what I did was I tried to pick out the most important details that she has provided, the most important points, and I put them all into one sentence and summarized those few paragraphs. All right, so that takes us to the end of the sample annotations. What you guys are going to do next is grab a copy of this article on paper, and you are going to work through it and complete your own annotations. I will give you further directions in person, and best of luck with it. Please refer back to this as necessary.